mayor of Talladega, Alabama, has been the victim of a terrible physical assault. But if you dig a little deeper into the story, you find that there is some serious scandal involved. Now, Larry Barton is the victim of this assault, and apparently the person who went after him is a former co-host of his. He used to host a show called In the Interest of People with Benny J. Green, and Benny J. Green is actually the person who assaulted him. Now, what happened exactly? According to Barton, as he started to open his car door when he was in a parking lot, a person wearing a coat with his head covered jerked the door open and began to assault him with something resembling a sawed-off baseball bat with a leather strap attached. Barton said he was able to grab the bat with his hands, at which point his assailant began punching him in the face. He says that at some point I was able to stand up and I kneed him in the balls. This is the mayor, by the way. Then I kicked him there twice. That knocked him down, and I told the people across the street to call the police. He was still on the ground when they got there. Now, at that point, he was able to take the hood off of this hooded man and figure out who it was, and he found out that it was Benny J. Green. So why would his co-host want to assault him this way? Well, it turns out that he set up a hidden camera in his wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife's, business.
Benny did.
Benny did. Mm-hmm. And Benny found that the mayor of Talladega, Alabama, was engaged in sex acts with his wife in secret. And so he was upset about it, and that's why he went after Larry Barton. Now, Larry Barton allegedly had sexual interaction with this woman. However, he denies it right now. He claims that he doesn't even know about this tape that exists. He hasn't even been able to see it. I don't know if I believe the mayor, but I should give you some more context because he has already served 3 years in prison for fraud and money laundering. So he went to prison for 3 years, came out, and continued being the mayor of this town.
Okay, so a kind of colorful moral past.
Yes, a colorful moral past.
Is a diplomatic way to put it.
Yes. Now, I'm not in favor of any type of assault, sexual assault, physical assault. It's absolutely wrong. This is not the way you handle a situation like this. But the scandal that this mayor is involved in, how do you serve 3 years in prison for fraud and money laundering? He was stealing from the citizens of his own town.
And then he was reelected?
Then he would, no, I think he came back and served the rest of his term.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and then now he's up for reelection, which is incredible. I mean, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna run. I mean, I kicked a guy in the balls. I slept with his wife. I served 3 years in prison. But I'm going to run.
Wow. That is ballsy.
Yes, that is ballsy.
That is very ballsy. Talladega is in...
Alabama.
Alabama, okay. And I was like, all right, let's create some context around this. Also, I think it's important to note the age of the men involved, just to say that this is a love triangle that... a senior citizen love triangle that I'm like, wow, this is like Viagra-vated assault. I don't know what... I mean, I'm making light of a situation. Obviously, it's never okay to assault a public official or a civilian or anyone of that nature, and especially not with a sawed-off baseball bat.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't actually know what that means either. I haven't had a lot of interaction with sawed-off baseball bats. This story is fairly ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I don't understand how this politician is able to still be a politician. And by the way, I could be wrong. The information that I'm not 100% certain about is whether or not he got reelected after he got out of prison or if he just finished serving his term. But it doesn't matter. He shouldn't have been the mayor of a town that he literally stole money from. I don't understand how that works out. And to know that he's still able to run and could possibly get reelected is insane.
I mean, perhaps people really believe in the rehabilitation of, serving your sentence and going to prison, serving your time, and then, after you're out there, you can, come back and serve your community. I don't know, that's part of his punishment. I don't know how things are going down in Talladega, but just based on some of their political spats, I would say that it might be a bit of a punishment to be the mayor of Talladega.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a punishment to be a citizen of Talladega.